You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love.
The face of love.
I hold you in my heart.
You in my heart.
You are my family.
You are my family.
You are the face of
love. The face of love.
You are the face of love.
The face of love.
I hold you in my heart.
You in my heart.
You are my family.
You are my family.
You are the face of love.
The face of love.
You are the face of God.
The face of God.
I hold you in my heart.
You in my heart.
You are a part of me.
A part of me.
You are the face of God.
The face of God.
You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu
of
sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are the
God.
face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
sei
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face
You
of God.
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of God.
ruh khudai.
You are the face
You
of God.
are the face of God.
You are the face of
Eres la luz de Dios.
You are the face of You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love.
The face of love.
I hold you in my heart. You are my family.
You are my family.
You are the face of
love. The face of love.
You are the face of love.
The face of love.
I hold you in my
heart. You in my heart.
You are my family.
You are my family.
You are the face of love.
The face of love.
You are the face of God.
The face of God.
I hold you in my heart.
You in my heart.
You are a part of me.
A part of me.
You are the face of God.
The face of God.
You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu
of
sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are the
God.
face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
sei
God.
la luz de Dio.
You are the face
You
of God.
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of God.
ruh khudai.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face of
Eres la luz de Dios.
You are the face of
Good morning, and welcome to Spiritual Life Center, a church that love is building.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Let us pray. Dear God, we know that we are part of an alive, vibrant universe where the true reality is spirit. When we learn to live in harmony with this spirit and catch its rhythm, then we will be in tune with power as never before. These words of Dr. Norman Vincent Peale inspire a deeper and fuller connection with you, God, allowing us a greater expression of you in our lives, knowing that as we open ourselves to your truth, your promise of goodwill will be our destiny. For this and all of life's great gifts, we say, thank you, dear God. Thank you, living, loving Spirit. Amen.
I will come to you in the silence. I will lift you from all your fear. You will hear my voice. I claim you as my choice. Be still and know I am here. I am hope for all who are hopeless. I am eyes for all who long to see. In the shadows of the night, I will be your light. Come and rest in me. Do not be afraid, I am with you. I have called you each by name. Come and follow me. I will bring you home. I love you and you are mine. I am strength for all the despairing, healing for the ones who dwell in shame. All the blind will see, the lame will all run free, and all will know my name. Do not be afraid, I am with you. I have called you each by name. Come and follow me. I will bring you home. I love you and you are mine. I am the word that leads all to freedom. I am the peace the world cannot give. I will call your name, embracing all your pain. Stand up now, walk and live. Do not be afraid, I am with you. I have called you each by name. Come and follow me. I will bring you home. I love you and you are mine. I love you and you are mine.
As we prepare for meditation, I invite you to take a deep breath. Allow your breathing to let you relax. Ask your mind to be still as you remember to turn within to that still, quiet place within us where all of our answers are. Within each of us, dwelling within each of us, is the very presence of the living God. So we continue to relax and just let go. Whatever cares or concerns we may have come in with, allow them to fade away. For within us, at the very depth of our being, the source of our wisdom lies. Let us ask ourselves the great questions, and we call forth from them the profound answers. What is the purpose of this life I am living? We allow ourselves to listen and remember. We have been created in God's image to love, to serve, to remember and awaken to who we truly are. Breathing even more deeply, we drop deeper into the silence, to the still place that the ancients have called the Holy of Holies. And we do so in the silence. There is a place within us that remembers, that knows. Within each of us carries a great life, with real gifts to give, to share, that will make a difference at this time in the world. And so we continue to open to this great love that each of us is, to continue to open to the unique and wonderful gifts that each of us carries. As we take time each day to listen, we come to see how each one of us together can have a part in creating heaven on earth, as we remember to love, to serve, and to trust. When we remember that God is in every moment of every circumstance, and so we choose to remember and to remember love. We choose to remember that all that we give to ourselves. Let us remember love as we open our hearts in gratitude for our lives, for our loved ones, for our spiritual community. We send a prayerful thought to the children and teachers in all parts of the world. We remember those who have special needs who may be right in this room. For all of the good that we have, for all of the good that is yet to come, we say in advance, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And now let us sing together the words that our brother taught us to sing, the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory,
I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine, surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine, yeah. I can only imagine. I can only imagine when that day comes, when I find myself standing in the sun. I can only imagine when all I would do is forever, forever worship you. I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine, yeah. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine, yeah. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
Nancy Ingalls, thank you so much. That was very moving. Spiritual insights are door openers to God's grace. We've all had those moments when a light bulb came alive within us, when we've known there is a whole new world beyond what our thinking has limited us to, when the horizon is filled with exciting promise. I've had a number of these moments, and I'll bet you have too. It is evidence that God is always seeking to share more and more truth with each of us, and God finds fascinating ways of doing so. One such moment for me was half a lifetime ago, after I had been absorbing the teachings of unity for several weeks. And the realization hit me full force that God is real and fully alive and available to each one of us here and now, not just out there somewhere removed, but rather eternally present and accessible. And the joy this brought at this initial reckoning was astounding and filled me with a sense of bliss. I knew at that moment that my life would never again be the same, because God, the cause of all good, was and is on my side, supporting the best for me. That sense of knowing and well-being has never left me. Another time of spiritual insight was during my last few months of seminary at Unity Village, where one of our faculty assigned each of us to find a quiet time during the following week. We were to remove ourselves from our usual environment and take all the time we needed to go into deep meditation. During this, we were to invite Jesus to have a conversation with us. I looked forward to this, planned a time, settled into an experience of deep meditation, and entered into conversation with Jesus. One of my questions was how I might relate to him so as to make my life more effective. And I received a clear vision of my proceeding up a steep hill, and after asking his help, received from him a strong lift that placed me higher up the hillside. It was fascinating. This practice of asking his support and assistance has blessed me many times over the years. My final question of Jesus was about something memorable that happened almost 40 years prior. The week after my dad died, I was just 17 years old and had been in college only 3 weeks. I came home for the weekend and in the middle of the night heard a sound in the next room. I went in and found my dad dead from a heart attack. I have reflected since of how important it was that my mother was not alone at that time, because other than me, she was the only other person there. A couple of days after the funeral, I was awakened in my sleep to a shimmering light at the foot of my bed. It was a hissing sound with bright white fireworks shining in the form of a small tree. I lay there for what seemed like a long time, but it was probably just 5 or 10 seconds. I knew I was wide awake, that I was not in the middle of a dream. I confirmed that for myself, and I continued to watch this hissing fireworks at the end of my bed. Finally, fear overtook me, and I made my way out of bed, falling on the floor, kicked the bed such that I broke a light fixture next to the wall. And after I was able to make my way up, I turned the light on, and of course, there was nothing there then. I had reflected on it many times over the years, and I asked Jesus, was that my dad at the foot of my bed? Jesus said, yes. He wanted to tell you that he loved you, something he was never able to do the entire time he was alive. There was a further insight at that time. I recall vividly in the days following my father's passing of my pondering why he had died. He was only a man in his mid-50s, but it was obvious to me. He had lived such a continuing worry and frustration and fear and upset. And I vowed to myself, I am not going to live that way. I will live instead free of those destructive practices. And my father turned out to be my greatest teacher. Another life-changing insight was the awareness that it is not the circumstances of my life that matter most. Rather, it is how I respond to them. This came about when Lenore and I were on our way to Unity Village to enter ministerial school. We were on the freeway going through Ohio. I had been driving for a couple of hours. Lenore was napping, and I was getting hungry. It was mealtime, and I came upon a Cracker Barrel restaurant. Now, I always kind of liked the Cracker Barrel restaurant. Lenore, not so much so. So I pulled over and up into the parking lot, turned the motor off. Lenore woke up and said, Oh, one of these places. Well, I got a sense of righteous indignation that had me so upset. I thought to myself, here I've been driving all these hours. I want to stop and grab a meal, and Lenora is not cooperating. All she knows is she doesn't like this place. And I said in a disgusting manner, well, I can turn the motor on and we can go find another place. And she said, no, that's all right. Let's go in. So we went in, but I was infuriated. I was so upset that I ordered my meal. I hardly said a word the entire time. I didn't eat that much. And when it came time to go pay the bill, I got out my Visa credit card and gave it to the lady. And she said, I'm sorry, it won't work. I couldn't believe it. I had never had a credit card turned down in my entire life. I knew there were enough funds to take care of this, and it was no problem. So I said, here, take this one. It was a MasterCard. She tried that. She said, I'm sorry, it won't get approved. Then I knew what was happening, and I pulled out the cash and paid the bill, went and got Lenore, and on the way to the car, I said, hey, I've got to tell you something. I have to get my attitude straightened out, or we don't dare get on the road. And I've never forgotten that ever since, that I had brought on this refusal of the credit card to be approved by how my consciousness was at that point in time. A further insight was that even though many of us are subjected to the same challenges of life at different times, each of us is unique. For me, this triggered something in my compassion index, causing me to see others in a new way, wanting to treat others with greater love and kindness and respect, because seeing that each of us is on our own individual path, we are all limited to our own unique resources and abilities for navigating that path. It gives, for me, special meaning to the phrase, there but for the grace of God go I. Another insight came for me at one point when I realized that life is complicated and complex, but only the earthly experience, the human experience, not the divine realm. The text of A Course in Miracles, chapter 21, states, listen to what the ego says and see what it directs you to see. And it is sure that you will see yourself as tiny, vulnerable, and afraid. You will experience depression, a sense of worthlessness, and feelings of impermanence and unreality. You will believe that you are helpless prey to forces far beyond your control and far more powerful than you. And you will think the world you made directs your destiny. Pretty powerful stuff. But unlike our earthly experience, divine life is simple, pure, and uncomplicated. There are no opposites in the divine realm, no degrees of being. Love and kindness and good reign in totality. There is no partial blessing. Its wonder and beauty is absolute. And following this insight came the awareness that I may at any time choose to abandon the thought of a limiting world around me and instead claim the unlimited expanse of spirit. This, for me, is very freeing and hope-filled. It is filled with promise and possibility. And that is made clear in the experience of a certain young man during the last century, a young divinity student was stricken with polio. And from somewhere deep within him came an unlikely voice calling him to, of all things, dance. So, with great difficulty, he quit divinity school and began to dance. Slowly and miraculously, he not only regained the use of his legs, but went on to become one of the fathers of modern dance. This is the story of Ted Shawn. And it is compelling for us to realize that studying God did not heal him. Embodying God did. The fact of Ted Shawn's miracle shows us that dance in all its form is theology lived. This leads us all to the inescapable act of living out what is kept in, of daring to breathe in muscle and bone, what we know and feel and believe again and again. Whatever crisis we face, there is the voice of embodiment that speaks beneath our pain ever so quickly. And if we can hear it and believe it, it will show us a way to be reborn. A further insight came that life is not limited and temporary. I grew up believing that we all have a certain time to be alive, and then we die. When we die, our life ends. It is profound when we understand that life is ongoing, never-ending, eternal. Just as God is eternal, all of life is as well, because God and life are one. And we are one with God. So our life is ongoing, eternal. Evidence of this was in the final moments in the life of Steve Jobs. Jobs, a pioneer of the personal computer and the smartphone, died a decade ago at the age of 56 from pancreatic cancer. He had a fortune of $7 billion, but his attitude in those final months was, is that all there is? He said, in other eyes, my life is the essence of success. But aside from work, I have little joy. At this moment, lying on the bed, sick and remembering all my life, I realized that all my recognition and wealth that I have is meaningless in the face of imminent death. One can find material things, but there is one thing that cannot be found when it is lost: life. But Steve Jobs had another life experience in store. His family reports that in his final seconds, his last words were, "Wow, wow, wow." One final insight is that there is no given number of insights to experience. Rather, each of us can continue to gain insights as our life moves on. My past understanding was that there is only so much to know and to perceive, but that was then. Now it is clear that my and every person's insights can continue on without end. For me, that is an awareness that brings me even greater joy, that there is an indefinite number of insights each of us can become aware of on into eternity. It is important to remember that God offers each one of us spiritual insights as a regular part of life. As you are open to welcoming these insights, you will be led to eliminate worry. Eventually, this can bring you a consciousness of harmony and synchronicity where life tends to be smooth and orderly. In time, this can even lead you to a state of spiritual enlightenment. And it all begins with welcoming the spiritual insights that God avails to you as you open yourself to an awareness of a greater and greater vision of light.
I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet. The birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
Thank you, Rosemary Siemens, for your beautiful rendition of the song In the Garden, one that was my mother's very favorite. We are pleased that each of you could join us for this morning's service, and we invite you now to join in our prayer of sharing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we would be so very grateful for your donation to Spiritual Life Center. And there are 4 ways that you can make this happen. First is online through our secure website, www.slctroy.com/give. A second way is to mail a check to Spiritual Life Center, 41340 Fox Run Road, number 106, Novi, Michigan, 48377. A third way, call my cell 248-925-6214 with credit card information that you provide directly to me for a one-time charge. A fourth way is to go to the weekly Friday email, and in there you will see in a couple places, donate online or donate now. And if you click on that, it will be clear how to proceed. We welcome you if you are joining us for one of your first times, and we invite you to join our email list by visiting our website, www.slctroy.com, and in the upper right corner, you'll see Join Email List. If you will click on that, you'll see that you can enter your name and your email address, and we will have you receive our Friday morning weekly email that has the link to the upcoming Sunday service, as well as the link to upcoming classes. And it will entail providing you all the information about activities upcoming, which we welcome you to participate in. If you have a prayer request, send these to ronaldfscott@gmail.com. We will forward these to our prayer team of more than 30 praying members of the church who will hold you and your loved ones in the highest. We also forward these on to Silent Unity, where they are prayed over for 30 days at Unity Village. If you want to call Silent Unity on your own, you're welcome to do so and pray directly with a prayer chaplain at Unity Village. Their number is 1-800-NOW-PRAY. Next Sunday, Reverend Martha's message will focus on the importance of friendship and how vital good friends are to our mental health and the quality of our life. Sounds amazing. If you have listened on YouTube to any of the first 2 classes of Reverend Anita's 6-week class on prosperity, you know how remarkable it is. The 3rd class today focuses on physical prosperity, and it will be available on our YouTube channel later today. We have received a request from the family of our dear Brenda Ondeco to provide a celebration of life service on her behalf on late afternoon of Saturday, February 25th, the last Saturday in February. It will be held at the Orion Center on Joslyn Road in Lake Orion. All are welcome to attend. We are sending an email to everyone with further details. Brenda was such a treasure, and her loss was so unexpected. A number of you have asked about plans to honor her. Immediately following the end of today's service, everyone is invited to join us on Zoom for a time of social connection. The link was in your Friday email. But first, let's join together in our peace song and benediction. God bless.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now as you go forth, know that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you.
The Lord bless thee and keep thee.
The power of God protects you.
The Lord make his face to shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee.
The presence of God watches over you.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and grant thee peace.
Wherever you are, God is.
Amen. Amen.
Go your way rejoicing. All is truly well.